Greetings, my name is Mr.Bonesworths, and welcome to an Oni build I like to call Oni's Retribution. In this build, I try to play up Oni's strengths and try to fill in some of the tools that he lacks, such as stealth elements, and some little bits of information. Let's get straight into his add-ons. I recommend either a wooden Oni mask or splinter hull. This makes it so when they're injured they drop orbs more frequently, and you get additional ones if they do chase actions, exit at locker, or fail skill check. This is generally really good for getting your power and pulling up a large amount of blood. For his second add-on, however, I recommend whatever you feel comfortable with. I personally use something to increase his power duration, but I will explain later on in the video of an add-on I wish I had in a certain situation. Now, onto his lovely perks, and the star of the show is Hex Retribution. Although it is not the strongest perk in this build, it is the one I choose to name it after. Hex Retribution, however, is one of the reasons why this build all comes together. It makes it so whenever a survivor interacts with a totem, bless it, cleanse it, whatever, they become oblivious for 45 seconds. And the timer can reset if they go off, go do a gen for 30 seconds, come back, boom, reapplied. This also has the secondary effect of if they cleanse a boon and hex totem, them and their teammates will be revealed for 15 seconds with their auras. This is especially good with our next pick, Plaything. Plaything activates after you hook the survivor for the first time. Then they get a randomly assigned totem on the map that is dull, and for the next, I believe, 90 seconds, they can only cleanse it. The aura of the totem is revealed within 60 meters though, so if they don't want to be oblivious, they can always cleanse it. With this, you have multiple hex totems that can reveal the auras of survivors, and if the person that has the totem wants to get rid of the oblivious effect, they have to wait another 45 seconds if Retribution's still standing. For our third perk I would like to talk about is Scourge Hook Gift of Pain, and why I run this over a generic and more common perk, Sloppy Butcher. For one, I can apply this even if I use my Demon Dash or Special Attack at all. All I have to do is make it to the hook, which I haven't had any problems with. And although Sloppy will have an easier time being applied, this also has a bit of a choice element to it because of this secondary effect, which is whenever they get fully healed after being unhooked for the first time, they will suffer a 16% penalty to healing and repairing actions. This means not only if someone has to heal you, you're wasting more of their time, you're wasting more of your own if you do a gen or heal someone else. And with the effect of the mangled after being hooked, you will be making that 25% reduction to healing a lovely 41%. Of course, there's counters to this, like Plot Twist, which makes it so someone else doesn't have to heal you, or will make it so the healing speed penalty is almost doing nothing. But as these effects keep stacking, and if they don't bring any of these, it's still gonna do something. And what I mean by these effects stacking, I'm talking about our fourth and final pick, Hex Pentimento. Hex Pentimento works in the way for each totem that is cleansed, you can reignite it, and it works in stacks of a total of 5. These mostly affect Gift of Pain in the way that they can mix well together, and if you still have Retribution up, give you more totems for it to be affected by, making it so auras can still be revealed and oblivious effects can be applied. The first stack of Pentimento is possibly the strongest, is it makes so survivors' repair speeds are decreased by 30%. Mix this with Gift of Pain's effect, and you make survivors do gens 46% slower. That makes gens well over 100 seconds to do. And this affects all survivors. So even if you haven't hooked anyone else and they don't have the 60%, they're still getting it until it's cleansed. The second effect, and they get this as well as the 30% gens, is to healing speeds. So if someone's healing a survivor who just got Gift of Pain and they got hooked themselves, that's a 46% on top of the 25% from the mangled effect that they have to deal with to heal that survivor, wasting a ton of time and making it so blood is pooling in that location. And if you just want to go back to where the unhook is, you know for sure, even if you're on the other side of the map, unless they have will make it, as a perk, you can get there and interrupt the heal. The third effect, and arguably the weakest in my opinion, is whenever you get a third stack, it's a 30% reduction to recovery speed. So with Oni, sometimes you want to down someone and keep using your power to get someone nearby. This makes it so if you down that survivor, hook them, the other person wouldn't have recovered as fast and the teammates can't pick them back up as quickly because of the mangled effect that's possibly going on if you had sloppy, and of its secondary effect, which decreases the healing speeds. I find this third effect not too useful for me personally, since I don't really do that, and this is more of a reward to slugging, which I find eh. The fourth effect, although not too strong, is more of the end game scenario. It makes it so the gates take 30% longer to do. This is somewhat counted from Wake Up and completely counted by Soul Survivor, although I rarely see either one of those picks. The important thing to remember is this is a fourth effect on top of the other three, making it so it's another layer to go through to get to the most powerful effect, which is the repair speed. This also is lovely to pair with No Way Out and Remember Me, making it so the gates take forever to go through. And the fifth and final one, which is also the hardest to actually activate, makes it so all totems for the remainder of the match are blocked by the entity. That means if they didn't manage to get rid of the totems or you didn't light them till then, you can keep the effects no matter what now. Although I don't fully recommend going for this strategy always. You will have an easier time because you have 5 totems on the map that are lit and do something, but what often happens is I see people try to go for that 5th stack and never get any value from Pentimento. I recommend you start lining totems if there are any totems gone within the map at 2 gens. That way, no matter what, you waste some more of the survivor's time. This also can have the added effect of making it so they are afraid to cleanse any more totems. This also was really hard to get the 5th stack because of boons, but as of late, since the nerf to them or changes, I have seen almost no boon activity, making it so. Again, that 5th stack has increased dramatically though, making it worth running. And if you can get 5 stacks, you've got the most powerful Hex next to Noed and Devourer, in my opinion. You just have to work your way to get to it. What this build now utilizes is choices. the known ones, the unknown ones, no matter what, you get a win scenario. Most of the time. The only times you don't is, one, you did very poorly and got no hooks, then none of these totems do anything. Except for retribution if it's cleansed, because they saw it, and if it glows it goes, right? And if they have a boon and you hear it go off before anyone's hooked, that gives you a choice that you have to make. You have to possibly risk leaving that person alive, booning one of your hex totem spots, making it so you can't get a stack of pentimento, and honestly, making a point for them to not be seen by auras, heal faster, be faster with made for this. You don't want that. You want to try to tell them if you can. Although, there is a scenario where if it's 2 gens and you just see now boon come up, just light your pentimento stacks at that point. And it's going to take longer for them to boon a hex than cleanse one. If they choose not to heal and stick with being mangled and hemorrhaged, they can give you more blood to go after the teammates, or them even. They are most likely oblivious, so they're going to be one shot no matter what. And not hear you coming, yeah, that's a good recipe to have. And if they cleanse, well, you now have a stack of pentimento. They most likely just revealed the teammates, and they're still oblivious? Oh, and if they heal and just do nothing and be oblivious, what happens when they hear the roar across the map and they don't know if you have barbecue and heading right towards them? If any other killer, you might be like, yeah, I'll stay injured, why not, I've made for this. If only you don't want to be injured. You don't want to hear that roar while being oblivious. You don't want to risk your teammates being oblivious when I'm in my blood fury. It's an exhausting process for your brain to just keep weighing the benefits. And especially if you start seeing the mental effects going up. You're just like, what have we done? Where could the totems be? Oh shit. Oh hell no. There's so much thought that survivors have to do that it becomes a bit exhausting. Is this fun really for them? I say this is a challenge. And it's a fun one for you. It's a balance for you as well. Although, nothing really dramatically can hurt you unless if you choose to keep someone alive for boot and want to not get that 5th stack. But earlier in this video, I mentioned a scenario where I wish I had the iridescent crest. That's when, in a cold wind match, after— oh hello, why are you going? After the survivors had 2 of their teammates die by my hand and the pentimento effects were in full swing, they decided to hide. Sadly, I couldn't get any more information even if they could cleanse, and I was stuck going in and out of blood fury mode until I finally snuck up onto the Claudette and got her. But that took an extra 15 minutes out of a already decently paced match. But other than saying I've only had a total of 2 losses using this build over a span of 35, that this is quite simply fun for me to use. And I am no standards a really good Oni player. I play on controller, if that isn't known yet. Do I recommend that people always run this? I do recommend highly Gift of Pain on Oni, since, again, it does more than Sloppy could and could possibly make it so a survivor hesitates and stays injured. And I would really recommend using Hex Retribution for other builds that you might have in the future. Maybe not only, but I'm sure I and you will think of many more. And that's it for now. Next up, I think I'm gonna do another Trails of Torment build. And possibly, depends on which side I get this out, stop my playthrough of Lies of P, a Souls-like game coming out. Until then, this was another build I came up with, and I'll see you on the flip side.